All right, here's our video today, and we're going to be talking about, let's bring it back there. There it is. Algebra 1 Regents literal equations, not linear, but literal equations, 2G. So let's say, what are literal equations? Who's ever heard about that? So they look something like this. They have, let me write it down here, get our pen going. We'll choose blue today. Why not? For now. So they contain, there's our word, they contain variables, right? And multivariables, many variables, multivariable. As you can see here, we have A, B, and C. So they contain multivariables. So in other words, they contain several variables, as you can see, right? And so in order to solve literal equations, they have to tell you what to solve, right? So in this case, let's say that the question is, question 1 here, and they say solve for x. So now you know you have to solve for x. And when they say solve for x, they're always going to say, this is what's going to follow in terms of, get this down, in terms of A, B, and C. In other words, let's put underline in terms of. In other words, they just want you to isolate the x. That's what that means. So you're going to see this on the Regents. You're going to see solve for x, or maybe solve for y, or whatever the case may be. So if they're saying solve for x, then they're going to follow by saying in terms of whatever else is left. So in this case, they're going to say in terms of A, B, C. Oh, and don't forget the Y. Sometimes Y. It's an old song. Anyway, so whatever's left, they're going to say in terms of. So let's solve it, right? Let's clear this out. Solve it, right? Just write it over. AX plus BY equals C. So we want to get X alone. So let's just get rid of that BY, the whole thing. Just get rid of it. Whatever you do to one side, do to the other, right? Same way, right? And we'll change our pen. So now we have AX equals C minus BY. Almost there, but remember we want to get X alone. So we'll just divide out the A. And we're dividing because A times X is multiplication, so we're doing the opposite operation, and we have our answer. So solving for X in terms of A, B, C, and Y, X will equal C minus BY over A. Simple as that. That's what literal equations are. So let's do a few so you get used to it. Okay, let's clear that out. Get the pen back. Where's the pen? There we go. All right, let's clear this out. So let's get a different one. What if we had something like this? What if I had, and we'll use purple. What if I had G equals 1/2 H, and then we had this parentheses here, A plus B. Now, you can't solve these unless they actually tell you what to solve. So let's say the question says solve for A. So now you're solving for A. And of course, they'll follow in terms of, in case you see that, you're not going to get confused, in terms of whatever's left, in terms of G, H, and B. Right? They won't say in terms of the constant, like the half. They won't say those terms. So we're just trying to solve for A. So let's do that. Let's change the pen. All right. So the first thing is, let's get rid of this half. We don't like that there, right? So remember, you just take the denominator and multiply it up, right? So remember here's a quick review on something. Right? You can always multiply up or divide down. So if I had, let's say, 10x equals 2, well, if I divide 10 divided by 2, we'll know what x is. Divide down, D for down, divide down. And I'm sure you know this. You can skip this if you have it. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and we know x is 5 because 10 divided by 5 is 2. But you can also multiply up. So let's say you had x over 10 equals 3. So multiply up. 10 times 3 is 30. 30 divided by 10 is 3. So you divide down, multiply up. In this case, we have a half here. So just multiply the 2 and the g. So you're going to have 2g equals, now 1 times h is h, so you can just keep the h there. You don't have to put the 1. And you have the a plus b. So rewind the tape if you didn't understand that. Now that we have the 2 there, we cleaned it up a little. We want the A alone, right? So the A, this is what we want, this A over here. So we're gonna subtract out the H. Oh, excuse me, divide out the H. Divide out the H. Remember, there's no plus or minus here. H is multiplying against A plus B, so we're going to divide it out. So we'll have this. Divide it out. Be very careful. It's so easy to make mistakes with this. All right, so let's rewrite it. Get another pencil here. Get another ink. Right. So now we're going to have 2G O divided by H equals A plus B, and we don't have to put the parentheses. All right. So we're going into the fourth step now, right? So let's put this, we had 1, we had 2, we had 3, and now the fourth step over here, and let's change the color again, why not? So we have 2G, right, over H equals A plus B, and we want the A alone, so we'll minus the B on both sides, right? Because we have a plus there. So our final answer, have our nice little arrow here, will be 2G over H minus B equals A. So we solved it in terms of A. All right, let's move on. All right, let's clear this out. Let's do another one. All right, get our pen back. Why not? Go back to blue. What if we had, let's do a little hard one. What if we had Z equals 5/9 K and do parentheses F minus 32. See if you can solve this one. Now, you can't solve it because I didn't tell you what to solve, right? So remember that. If someone says solve this, you're going to say, well, solve what? So let's say solve for F. And what should follow? You got it. You got to say in terms of what? What do you think? In terms of Z, in terms of K, right? Z and K, right? We're not worried about the variables. So pause the tape, see if you can solve that. All right. So we're trying to isolate F. So we got a lot of things in our way. Let's get rid of that 9 here. Let's multiply it up, right? So now we're going to have 9Z equals 5K run, F minus 32, right? Now we can divide the whole 5K out because, right? Let's divide the whole 5K out. Why not? And let's change the color. So that's step 1, step 2. Now step 3 we'll bring over here. And now we have 9Z over 5K equals F minus 32. And of course we have a minus 32, so we have to add 32 on both sides to isolate it. Let's make our big arrow, change the color for step 4, the last one. Put a line, why not? Here's the last step. So now we have 9Z over 5K plus 32 equals F. There it is. All right, these are getting easy, right? Let's do one more. Why not? Okay, let's see. What if I gave you, use green there. What if I said y, well, not y, fix that. Let's say 6x, let's see, minus 3y, yeah, that's a good one, equals 12. What do you think about this one? So pause the tape if you want to, right? It's up to you, right? So again, you can't solve this until I tell you solve for y. Let's do solve for y. Solve for y in terms of x, right? So solve for y in terms of x. So if we want to solve for y, we want the y alone. So let's get rid of the 6x. Let's get rid of the 6x on both sides by minusing it, right? We're not dividing it because we don't see it multiplying with anything. We just see 6x. We don't see it 6x times anything, so we'll minus it. And again, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So now we have a negative 3y equals 12 minus 6x. Now, you can also, or don't forget this. You can also do negative 3y equals negative 6x plus 12, whatever one is more comfortable for you. Either way, we know it's plus 12 because there's no sign here, so it's positive. Some people like this way better, but it doesn't matter. You get the same answer. So again, we want the y by itself, so we'll just divide out the negative 3, and we're dividing this time because we have multiplication here. We're doing the opposite operation, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So now we have 12 minus 6x divided by 3, and we're dividing by negative 3 by the 12 and the 6x, right? So we'll have y by itself now. The y is by itself. And we now have a negative 4 because 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. And we have a negative and a negative here, so we're going to have a positive 2x, right? Now, or, here's the or. We could have also, if we did this way and we minus 3 on both sides, we're going to have y. And now we have a 3, negative 3 here, so that's going to give us our 2x minus 4. So either way, it's the same answer, right? All right. So I think we did a good job today. Rewind the tape if you need some more help. And in the next video, we'll look at some more literal equations and some literal inequalities. All right. Great job. Well, let's put a little, we put a little sticker today. I think we missed out on one before. Look at that, 100. Get a little 100, a couple of hundreds. Why not? Feel good with the hundreds.